What? Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gauntlet, where we go over everything esports news. I'm your host, Captain Zeus, followed by my co-host JT and Novaburst. Today we're going over the results for Week 3 of the Overwatch League. And holy crap, that was a lot of stuff that happened. A lot of madness, a lot of torbs, reverse sweeps, 3-1s. I can't even begin to tell you guys how crazy that was, and some sloppy matches. Speaking of crazy, we had Philadelphia 3-1ing New York unexpectedly. JT.
Well, you see, I firmly believe that New York did not show up this weekend. I don't know what happened to my New York team. I think they disappeared. Maybe they got lost in luggage too. I'm not 100% sure what happened there. The first two games, pretty sure that was Houston playing. I don't know. Maybe we switched gears. I really don't know what happened there.
Oh.
But
okay.
Yeah, then all of a sudden New York walked in the door and was like, "Hey, this is our house." But it was a little bit too late at that point. So that's kind of what happened. That's what I saw, at least.
Interesting analogy. I like how you have to
my defense.
Constantly bring in Houston. I appreciate. Anyways, Nova, how did you feel about such a dominant win over this not so dominant New York team?
It's a great feeling, getting your prediction rights for your team, especially one so great, like going up against New York. It just feels fantastic, And I'm actually surprised JT over here just giving excuses instead of actually giving it up to Philly. Like, Philly came to play, and they just beat the living crap out of New York. There's nothing to it. I mean, I will admit, New York did not look like New York from the last 2 weeks that we've seen them play. And I don't know, Philly was like, hey, we're going to show you why we're 2-0. And that's why they're staying undefeated. So.
JT, what do you think New York's going to do after getting the flim-flam beaten out of them this week?
We're on to next week.
Oh, you're great.
Philly was done. Philly was a lot better than I thought. I had some question marks if they were actually a top 5 team going into this week, because we hadn't really seen a top team play them. Didn't really know what to expect from them. They definitely showed up to play. They're definitely a top 5 team. That mixture is still really confusing, the top 4 teams. It's kind of hard to place everyone. I need like another 3 or 4 matches to really be able to, figure it out. But pretty happy with how New York showed up at the end, at least. We can build off that. Let's just forget the, first 2 maps. And, I really don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about what 2 trash cans rushing towards the end of the mountain and wasting my life and a lot of other people's lives. At least Boston came to play. Let's talk about Boston-Houston. Hey, Nova, you want to talk first about this matchup?
I mean, a win is a win, I guess. If you could drag it out that long to Game 7, I mean, determination? I mean, they wanted a win that bad. They were both winless. I mean, Boston just came to play. I don't know. Houston was already coming up into this week. Luggage list. Winless. Like,
hopeless.
I don't know where Zeus is. There you go. I found Zeus. But
sorry.
He was with your luggage.
He was trying with the luggage. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just got back. It's a long day.
Yeah. Kudos to Boston. They had good plays. DPS played well. There are some highlight moments that I, was like, okay, Boston, I see you. Learned from from New York. Like I said, maybe they took some experience from New York and took it into this matchup. So, but take it to Game 7. I did not expect that at all. But good for Boston.
Hey, Mr. Zeus, are you okay?
I am not okay.
You want to talk about it?
Oh
That's
boy. Oh, Houston. Oh, Houston, baby. I'm done with you. This is it. This is my breakup. I'm done with you. It's nope. Not only did you lose the first 2 maps, granted you tied the next 2, and you were looking in strong, and then for some reason confidence got to you, and you just didn't clutch it. Just did what you did best, and just fell flat in your face. That's it. Like the analogy for the 2 trash cans was like this, and then you're like, oh hey, look who. Boston just kept in, and they won, and it was so sad. Not only was the gameplay sloppy from both sides, really. I don't know what the heck was going on half the time. It was chaotic. It was madness. Like, good lord. And then with the whole switching with repel.
One word, why? Yeah, I don't get it. It's a question on everyone's mind. I mean, the thing that it screams to me, at least from when I've talked to teams in the past, I haven't talked to Houston about this, but usually it's map-specific strategies that they have in mind.
Have you seen any map-specific strategies?
Not as of yet, but we may do soon,
Okay,
you know?
map 4, the map-specific...
Just
Yeah, what was going on with that? Why are they switching every
know.
other game? I don't get it. Like,
they had Ruckus. It was like, oh, you're doing decent. Next map you'll be, and it switches for repel. It's like, oh, okay, and then repel.
and then they immediately lose.
Yep, and then switch back to Ruckus. Oh, we're doing decent. Puts repel back in. God. It's like, what are you doing? Good lord. It was like how Washington always switched Stratus and Tuba out all the time, but at least theirs was somewhat consistent. This one was just like, let's just keep
Every
switching.
other
See what happens
game.
when we keep switching.
What kind of coaching decision is that?
I don't know. Like, what
Hey,
is
we
going
won a
on?
game with this guy. Forget that. Let's move on. What?
Is it Raucous?
It is indeed, yeah. Raucous is going to be back in for repel.
I've figured it out, Brent.
What, every other map?
Yep, I think that's it. I think Raucous is like the lucky guy. They sub him in every other map.
We got to draw.
He's
Oh,
expired.
sweet. Let's switch out. Wait, what? No. We kind of need this guy here.
Well, it might have had to do with their luggage being missing. Maybe they only had like 1 set of keyboards or something.
Mumu was so pissed that
He's like,
the
"Share."
whole weekend he was just like, first of all, we're switching repel. What the fuck is what's going on here? You know, so I'm like, oh. Dude, it was just I can't talk about this anymore, dude. I really can't.
So I got one last thing to add to this matchup, Mr. Nova.
Yeah.
So the first 2 games from Boston really did look pretty polished and pretty good. Why did it go to game 7? Because they looked pretty dominant like the first 2 games, and then just all of a sudden there was 2 ties and then losses. Like, what?
See, that's the thing too. Like, for Boston, like last week, I expected them to I thought they were a better team. I thought they were just gonna clean up. So that's why I was like, in the first matches, hopefully they just do good and then finish up. But it's the aspect of Boston's still a bottom team, so they did good, but they couldn't hold on to it. So when it was at halftime, they couldn't transfer that over to the other half, and yeah, at least they still came out with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, they just need to practice that, I guess. Carrying that energy, that vibe with them during the halftime. But guess you kind of saw some potential from Boston. Just need to work on it. Yeah. Don't worry, Zeus. You'll be fine. You know what? I'll change it for you, Zeus. We'll talk about a different matchup, okay?
Okay.
We also had Paris versus Washington Justice.
Oh, you said Paris.
Zeus, you look very pleased to
Oh.
hear Paris in this conversation.
Ooh.
Paris did very well against Washington, even though Washington was the homestead, had that home crown with them. Zeus, how'd you feel about this matchup?
Oh, it's good to be French. Oh, I wish I was French right now. Because holy cow. Not only did I actually get a prediction right, kudos to
First
me,
one.
right? But Paris
Seriously.
just, it was good. It was a good matchup. Like I said, it was going to be really good either way. It was not going to be absolutely dominant, Sure, it was 3-1, but Washington, they put up a fight. Corey, being Corey, really made it difficult for us. But God almighty, we took that dub. I am proud to say I want to be French. Never thought I'd want to say that right now.
Interesting. JT, why do you think Washington fumbled in this matchup? I mean, they had the home crowd with them. They looked good when they were fighting against Philly, and we talked about Philly being one of the top 5 teams possibly. So we thought they had the energy, the spirit. So what happened, man?
I think probably a little bit too much hype on this team. Partly my fault. I'll take the blame for that. Yeah. But I mean, it's hard to not be hyped about a team that takes games off of top teams, especially when you haven't seen too much from anyone. This was, I think, the leveling field for Washington. They kind of leveled back out. Still a good team, not a bottom team by any stretch of the imagination, but not like a number 6 or something. This game was a complete joy to watch. Kind of got everything you wanted. You got lots of the DPS plays. You've got lots of, craziness. Just a fun match to watch. I wish Washington would have taken it, just for my prediction's sakes. But even with them taking an L here, this was a good game to watch. Fun for all the fans. I'm not a big fan of Paris at all, really. But
what a surprise!
I can tell.
But it was still a fun match to watch, and I think Washington's going to have a lot of pieces to pick from. They have so many strong pieces that I think they could be a top team if they really buckled down and, did some more scrims.
Yeah, definitely. And so, JT, I know you said Paris, you don't really take quite fond to them, but watching Paris in this matchup, does it possibly change your mind with them being a top 10? Because I know I put the top 10. It was in the lower top 10. Zeus put them in the top 10. Do you think they finally deserve a top 10 watching that matchup, or you still on the fence with that one?
I just need to see more. I mean, they're a good team. I just don't think they excel at anything. They're pretty good at across the board. I just don't see them taking. I just don't see the roster spots like a top 10. I just think they're missing something. And I think long run, that's going to show through, especially when we hit playoffs and whatnot. So that's what my concerning factor for Paris is. Could they be? Yes. I need to see more from them.
Hey, that's valid. I can agree with that. It takes time to see what a team truly is. You know what I mean?
I just feel like I'm being lied to currently. The form they are showing right now, I just don't believe it. I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like what happened in New York. I don't believe I think they played really poorly, and I think Paris played extremely well. And I don't know what to think about Washington. They have some good pieces, but I don't know how those pieces work together.
Yeah, probably just had a bad week, man. Just probably had a bad week.
Really bad week.
Hey, I know losing both your games in your homestead, that's kind of tough. But I'm sorry to do this to you, Zeus.
No, don't do it.
We got to go back to Houston. Houston versus New York. New York, hey, they rubbed off that dust, man, and they were ready to go back to their roots. New York versus Houston. JT, how'd you feel about that, New York?
Well, let me go get the chainsaw, because this was a slaughterhouse. They were pretty upset about the loss. You could kind of see it in their play. I don't know. Houston is kind of like a non-team. They don't give you anything to watch. So I'm not even sure if New York is a top team, because they didn't really show it against anyone else. They have to be a top 5 team. But Houston doesn't give me any more hope. Them trashing Houston doesn't give me any more hope.
There's a shocker, repelling for Raucous.
Yep.
It does definitely feel like every other map.
I saw it coming.
You did, yeah, you did. You called it.
I still can't tell you why.
It's more question marks of what is happening. And why is Nene not playing? I don't understand. My life is very confusing right now, guys. I need help. The New York I know and love is confusing me and letting me down. Maybe they're not. I don't know.
Welcome to the club.
This is the Twilight Zone. I'm on this hype train. I just don't know which direction it's going.
It's going to Houston, it seems, like next week's matchups.
Rolling over Houston.
Speaking of matchups, because I'm not going to talk about this.
Hold on. I have one last thing to say about this matchup.
Please don't.
Yep. Zeus predicted them to be top 10. I just will never let him forget this.
I had confidence, man.
Number 20.
Okay, you know what?
I have proof of you saying this.
I'm aware. It's on tape. But I don't have anything to say to that. So, I'm going to talk about this Philly-Toronto matchup.
Okay.
Because, wow, that was actually more entertaining. I didn't even watch the Houston-New York one, to be honest. I was too heartbroken from the previous week. Anyways, Nova really took you guys to the distance. Game 5. Toronto was looking pretty good there. Philly looking not so hot. I thought they were going to lose for a second. How do you feel about this, man?
I mean, yeah, you would expect getting a win against New York, a team that we said was possibly top 5, top 4, always mixing around. But with that, I was like, dude, Philly got this against Toronto. I didn't think Toronto was super, super good. So coming into this, I was like, Philly got this. But going to game 5, yeah, I was kind of nervous. But was I like, oh, no, we're going to lose? Nah, man, Philly got this.
Sure.
Philly's still good. And Philly deserves that top spot.
I can respect that. Toronto was looking really spicy after that week 1 win against my Frenchies, Paris. JT, how do you feel? Even though you guys lost, you took them to game 5. How do you feel about that?
Toronto's a top 10 team. Just as simple as that. They take
that.
all the top. They beat Paris. I think Paris is in the conversation for a top 10 team. That was fairly convincing. And then they take this to, an extended series. There's a lot to like there. I think a little bit more teamwork, a little bit more time together. I think they have a very good conversation to be in for the top 10. So hopefully we see more Canadian teams dominate because, I love them Canadians.
And there's only 2. But speaking of conversations for the top 10, Washington took an L from London in a reverse 3-0 sweep. JT, I know I was crying a lot today, but it's your turn to cry right now. How do you feel? Because literally Stratus was crying at the end of it. I don't know if you watched that part. He was literally crying. I would too if I was in their shoes. How do you feel about this unbelievable loss?
Empty, depressed, saddened, empty, just so empty.
A lot of emptiness.
And just a void in my life.
This is the club that I'm in with Houston. You're welcome to join.
No, they're like in the black hole.
Well, we're VIP. You're just starting position.
We're upset, but not there yet. No.
2 losses, but
so many question marks for Washington. I don't understand them at all. They've got Corey, who's just wrecking people, and then we're like subbing out other people. I just don't get it. I think this is a coaching mistake more than anything. Hopefully we can turn it around. I don't know. I can't make it a educated guess because I don't understand this team at all. I thought I did going into this weekend. I just don't.
I 100% agree. A lot of weird coaching, situations going on this week with Houston, with Washington, with New York. I don't know what's going on. Coaches came around like, hey, let's spice things up in a not so good way. But Nova, that reverse 3-0 sweep. Oh, what you must be feeling right now. What you must be feeling.
Right now, ace is high. Ace is high. Man, like, personally, I am a London Spitfire fan. And coming into this season, I knew they were not the same team that won Overwatch League championship first time going. But, you know, I'm still a fan. I still support them. So just hearing about them losing the first two against Washington, I was like, nah, man, I'm probably not going to watch the rest. You know what I mean? But Zeus, you texted me. You were like, hey,
yes,
are you watching this match? And I was like, no, man. Like, we don't got this. We don't got this. You're like, no, man, London is going off. And I was like, what? Like, don't, you know, trick me or whatever. And then he's like, no, man, like reverse sweep, London won it. I was like, are you kidding me? Because I know we talked about Washington being a good team, possibly top 10. We didn't know for certain, but you know what I mean. And we put London in like bottom.
They were right there with Houston.
Barrel.
We had them right there with Houston.
Yeah, for real. And what's it called? Yeah, and seeing them get a win against Washington in Washington's own homestead, I was like, dude, this is huge. And if you're a London Spitfire fan, like, hey, just be happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, hell yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. I was flipping out watching that match. First two matches happened. I was just laying down, just like, it'll finish up pretty soon. And then all I hear is glister. I was like, what? And then they win the next match. I was like, oh my gosh, they just took it. I'm like, but you know, Washington was going to come back, and then they win the second match. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already game 5. And it was a reverse 3-0 sweep, and I flipped it. Like, I love Washington. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. This week just wasn't their week, but I am ecstatic for London. Holy cow.
But I think that comes down to coaching, right? They couldn't close the series out. They had the chance to close the series out.
Twice.
And they just collapsed mentally. I think that's really what happened, and their coaching staff's got to be able to get in there and stop that from happening.
And there was this one, I think it was on map 3, where London held them at spawn for the payload point. And then Washington tried to come out and they couldn't push it. Or it was the other way around. Washington couldn't push it, but then London was able to push it past the payload. It was absolutely crazy. I was amazed. London, for some reason, put out all the stops this week and just let everybody know, hey, we're still in this.
Yes.
But wow.
I got it.
Lots of good stuff happening this week. I can't wait to see what else is going to happen within the next couple of weeks here. But that will wrap it up for this video. I'm Captain Zeus, followed by JT and Novaburst, and we will see you guys in the next one. See you.